Thank you for tuning in to tonight's game. Your game is coming up next. But here's some information from the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
6 easy ways to become an MVP. And by MVP, we mean most valuable parent. Like all of us, the parents of high school athletes tend to protect their children from adversity, or they overly involve themselves by advocating for their success. But when they do, they're negating the value of participating in high school sports. Among other lessons, high school sports teach teenagers to take nothing for granted, how to overcome obstacles, and that an extraordinary commitment of time and effort is required in order to reach goals and experience achievement. High school sports also encourage independence and self-sufficiency, attributes that are needed to be successful in life. It's natural for parents to love their children, and it's important to support them in as many ways as possible. With this in mind, here are 6 easy ways that you can be the MVP of your child's high school team. Number 1, attend your children's games as often as possible. Nothing demonstrates interest and involvement more than being there. And be sure to invite Grandma and Grandpa to come along with you. Number 2, cheer for all the kids on the team, not just your own. Here's a test for you. Do you know all the players on your child's team? Could you say hello to them by their first name? Embracing the entire team is a great way to show that your interest is sincere. Number 3, be a resource for your child's team. Does a teammate need help with transportation? Is the team trying to raise money for new uniforms? Is someone needed to organize a pizza party before the tournament starts? Maybe you can help. Number 4, try not to criticize the coach or the officials in front of your child. Hey, you're human, and there may be times when you need to vent, but be careful when and to whom you do it. Criticizing the coaching staff undermines its credibility and tends to put your child in the middle. And games are seldom won or lost because of an official's call. Remember, coaches and officials are objective. Most parents are not. Empower your child to talk with the coach about concerns. Everybody wants more playing time, and understandably so. But encourage your children to have that conversation with their coaches instead of you doing it for them. Giving teenagers the confidence and conviction to speak up for themselves is one of the greatest benefits of participating in high school sports. Number 6, focus on the life lessons your children are learning, not on win-loss records or how many points they're scoring. According to the NC2A, only about 2% of all high school athletes win a sports scholarship, and the average value of it is less than $11,000. But every child will benefit from the lessons they've learned as a result of participating in high school sports for the rest of their lives. It's difficult being the parent of a high school athlete. There's far more emotion and social pressure involved than is ideal. But if you follow these 6 pointers, not only will your children love and respect you, but so will their teammates and coaches. And you might even be named MVP. Thank you for your support of high school athletics in Indiana. Stay tuned now. The Indiana SRN game is next. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game.
It's been a while, and it's great to see everybody. Welcome to Noblesville, Indiana. Guerin Catholic High School is the venue, and the occasion is a resumption of boys soccer here at Guerin Catholic. The Golden Eagles of Guerin and Roncalli. I'm Jonathan Mathis alongside Brett Goodrich, and we're happy to have you on this game presentation of Golden Eagle TV, powered by Indiana SRN. It's our fourth soccer broadcast. It is also the fourth game of Guerin Catholic's season, which took a little bit of a hiatus at the end of August, but got back in fashion on Saturday with a win at conference rival Bishop Chatard 2-1. That game against Bishop Chatard was a little bit rusty for Guerin's taste, but they were happy with it, all things considered. And as it stands, they've got a clean slate on their record and their standings. Guerin Catholic enters this game at 3-0. Roncalli's been on a bit of a hot streak too. They started the year over their first 4 games without a win. They were winless. They had a tie, then lost 3 in a row, but they've won 2 in a row, and their offense seems to be rounding into form. They also last played on Saturday against Covenant Christian and won in double overtime. Well, just won in overtime. They play 2 regardless, 5-3. Roncalli enters today at 2-3-1, and currently they sit in 4th place in the Circle City Conference. Guerin is second, chasing Heritage Christian, who has 2 wins and also no losses. But Brett Goodrich, this opportunity for both of these teams, when you're looking at a team, when anytime you're trailing somebody in your conference standings and you're playing a conference rival, you got to jump on those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of what makes the game so fun. I mean, everybody's out here to win, but there's things at stake as well, just beyond the end score of the game. Heritage, far and away, well, not far and away, Guerin's starting to come up to him, but Heritage is on top right now, and if anybody's chasing, they better start getting some wins under their belt.
And something that can help Guerin Catholic not only just get wins, but overcome Heritage Christian is their offense is astounding. On the season, if you look at just, and considering Guerin has played 2 less games than Heritage Christian has, they've scored more goals than Heritage Christian, 13-12.
Yeah. Well, that's the story with Guerin, it seems, that their defense has been absolutely dominant, and they prevent people from scoring on them in a big fashion, but also they score from a lot of places on offense, and they're getting it done.
If we look at just the goal allowed versus goals scored ratio, you were noticing that earlier. That's a pretty impressive number.
Yeah, so I'm here. I'm kind of newer to this whole circuit, and I'm just kind of going through everybody's stats, and I was amazed to see with Guerin Catholic in the games that they've played, they had a 4-0 game, a 4-0 game, and a 5-1, which means they've scored 13 goals for every 1 goal that was scored against them. Not to be pedantic, obviously the idea of soccer is to score more goals than your opponents, but, I mean, to score 13 goals more than when your opponents only have scored 1 against you, that's some good football.
And for Roncalli, their offense started off a little bit slower, but it's ramped up in recent games.
Yeah, I mean, with any team, especially in the midst of all the things, it can be a little bit difficult to knock the rust off, and it seems with Roncalli that's what happened with them. They just had a bit of a slow start. They've started to get it figured out and get it under their belt. Obviously, they have their breakout star that we'll talk about right now, but they have started to come into their own and get their wheels spinning, and I'm sure right now, today, they're hoping to keep that momentum going moving forward.
Yeah, and the breakout star is Jair Ramirez, and Jair is doing quite well this year. He's currently tied for 44th in the state with 8 goals. But 8 goals after 6 games, he's crushing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to come and to watch him play. That's the kind of soccer that just as a fan, even, and for me personally, I love to see people just kind of going off people to root for. I hope it doesn't mean that Roncalli is too one-dimensional. He's scored more goals than anybody else on his team combined. Like, he's the guy. But it's fun to watch those kind of people soar, and I really hope that he does a good job tonight that way.
Yeah, currently on this season, he is accounted for, Jair Ramirez being the one we're talking about, is accounted for 53% of Roncalli's scoring offense, and that's great. But you want to be able to see it from other players, and so far this season, Roncalli has struggled a little bit in capitalizing on opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, they had those goals a couple of games ago where they had a one-on-one against a goalie and they didn't convert. And it's a hard game. Goalies play well, but really you have to be able, if it's you and a big goalie, or if it's you and the big goal, you have to be able to convert on that stuff, and that's going to hurt you. And probably part of the reason why they're 2 and 3-1 right now.
Yeah, we were talking with Orfeo Demizio, the head coach for Roncalli, before this game, and we asked him, what's the difference? How are you now converting on those? And he said, well, we've been practicing it.
And isn't that always the way? You figure out sometimes what you're doing wrong by doing it wrong.
And we look at, so on Roncalli on one end of the spectrum, most of their offense comes from one player, Jair Ramirez. Guerin Catholic, they spread it out.
Yeah, actually, so Roncalli has 4 people on their team that have scored so far this season. 4. Over more games. Guerin has played a total of 3 games so far. 3 games, and they have 8 people that have scored in the midst of those games. Twice the number that Roncalli has had. So there's just a lot more people, it seems, with a foot on them who can really get in there and try and make stuff happen. It's difficult sometimes to play different defense against that many different things.
Yeah, as we get you set for Guerin Catholic and Roncalli, it's senior night for Guerin Catholic. That's Mattia Bonocco, who will be starting today. We'll go through the starters later today, but something that's really good if you want to be a championship-level team is having experience, and Guerin Catholic has a ton of seniors on their team, and not alone, they have a lot of experience coming back from last year's squad, which was quite good as well.
Right. I mean, as with a lot of varsity teams in high school, they're completely upperclassmen. But they have 10 juniors on Guerin, and they have 9 seniors, which is a lot of people to honor tonight. It means that they have played together quite a bit, which has a lot to do with team chemistry, and I'm sure, the games that they lost, they were bummed out because they want to play. But, man, next year, I guess you'll get to next year when you get there, but a lot of seniors, a lot of experience.
For Guerin Catholic, that last year's squad also united, and something you've seen them attack this season because they felt they got a little robbed in the playoffs last year, and if you you're going to see how a team comes back. They're trying to make amends for that. Are they going to come out super sharp? Are they going to come out rusty? And Guerin has come out in spades, outscoring Ritter and Park Tudor by a combined 11-0 in the first 2 games, and then even after the layoff, they come back and they're able to beat Bishop Chatard 2-1. That speaks to a lot of character on one's team.
Yeah, I mean, 18 days off in between their second game and their third. It's a lot of time, and they still came out and they played fantastic. And that's just, they have a depth to this team that is really impressive to look at. And in my opinion, going into this, they seem to be the team to beat. So we'll just have to see. Obviously, Guerin is like a quality team. Roncalli's got a lot to prove and a lot going on. Guerin has that experience. It should be a fun matchup, I think.
We're looking forward to this one. Guerin Catholic and Roncalli. That's coming up in a bit, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to just quiet ourselves and listen in to these seniors being honored on senior night. Again, a bunch of them being honored. They got a lot to go through, and we're looking forward to hearing them and seeing them play a little bit later. Here is senior night for Guerin Catholic boys soccer.
We are honored by
The narrative of the Bible starts with God. The Bible is an unfolding drama about God and about what God is doing on planet Earth. The story begins with Earth in chaos and God beginning to bring order to that chaos. Over the course of 6 days, God spoke and our world began to take shape. Each day, God would stop and look at whatever was created. clouds or grass or mountains or raccoons and think, that's good. The world was perfect, just as God intended it to be. Then, on the sixth day, God decided to make a creature called man by scooping up some dirt from the earth and breathing life into it. God named him Adam. God placed Adam in a garden that was full of plants and animals. Then, God told Adam it was his job to take care of everything in the garden, even to name each and every one of the animals. In the garden were two unique trees, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. God told Adam to eat anything from the garden, except for the fruit that came from the tree of knowledge. As you're probably already aware, the story doesn't end there. At some point, God decided it wasn't good for man to live alone. God wanted a suitable companion and helper for Adam, but nothing else God had created so far did the trick. So God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep and pulled a rib out of his body, using it to form another creature. God called this creature woman and named her Eve. After doing all this amazing work, God took a break on the seventh day. God gave a special blessing on this day of the week, setting it apart to be different than the other 6 days. Adam and Eve lived in the garden, enjoying a perfect relationship with one another. They lived perfectly with their surroundings, taking care of the earth as God had told them to. And they had a perfect relationship with God, spending time with God each day. Talk about mighty. That's some pretty amazing stuff God did. Not a bad start to the story, huh? Life, for now, was just as God had intended it to be.
If you find yourself confronted by unwanted pests in your home or office, then you need to contact the professionals at Kim Mountain Pest Control. We offer quality pest control solutions at an affordable price. We specialize in ants and termites. We're also available to handle a variety of other pests, including roaches, fleas, and flying insects, as well as rats and mice. Don't wait until pests cause severe damage to your home or property. Contact the team of experts at Kim Mountain Pest Control today.